Uh, yeah, I don't think Brazier is going to be on a minor league team. I don't think he's going back to the Dodgers. I think there's going to be plenty of guys who are going to want to trade for him, but they just also want to give up the least amount possible. So if he gets DFA, they just got to give him like a bag of potato chips. And
You know what's funny though? These are the kind of trades that nobody gets excited for because you're like, we're not going to get much for them, right? Like we're not going to get anything. But with the
right,
Dodgers, they somehow find guys that are like, oh, this guy's kind of good. Like it just happens. We traded Matt Beatty for River Ryan. Granted, he got hurt, but before that, he was balling,
right,
right?
that's ridiculous.
Nobody
Yeah,
thought that
that
was
is
going to be a
ridiculous.
good right. Nobody thought that was going to be a great deal. Then
Right.
Bush, the prospects that we have are panning out really good so far. So you never know. Maybe you get a lower prospect, and then in a couple years, he's like, "Oh wow, we got this guy for Brazier," kind of deal. That's always
Yeah,
how it goes.
you're buying it. You're probably getting a lottery ticket, and sometimes that lottery ticket is oh my gosh, what's his Juan De Paula, which the Giants got for Andrew McCutcheon, turned out to be nothing. Or you get Fernando Tatis Jr., who was traded for Jake Shields to the White
Yeah,
Sox. So like that stuff
crazy.
happens. You know what I mean? Like it's yeah, a lottery ticket. Sometimes it hits, sometimes it doesn't. Um,
Can you
you
imagine
know,
if they traded him?
oh,
If the franchise was in such disarray that they traded Tatis, that'd be
yeah,
crazy. That'd be end
that's
of times
another
in
story.
San Diego if that was to happen.
That's another story that's crazy. I mean, they're shopping everybody, which I think that they're just trying to get feelers out. I don't know if they're trading anybody, but the whole hey, we'll give up our top prospect if you just take Xander Bogart's contract, and yeah, it's a little tempt. It makes you kind of a tempting, and then you're like,
If the
it's a
Dodgers were
lot of
petty,
money,
they'd be like, yeah, give me Bogarts and give me DeVries or give me, well, not Salas, but give me DeVries, give me the shortstop, and then you
right?
just DFA the guy just to
You're
be a
just
dick,
eating
just like
money and just
just eat
destroying
it
the
and be like,
project.
we're not even gonna put him on the roster, dude. We just
That
wanted the
would be so
prospect.
cold blooded.
That'd
That'd
be
be
such a
so like I
boss
would feel
move,
so
man.
bad. That's like your worst. That's like 50 Cent buying the first 5 rows of Ja Rule's concert type petty. Like
Just
that
so
is
nobody's there, that'd be hilarious.
exactly. That's
If Friedman did that, you build a statue the next day because that's hilarious. That's such a troll job. You're like, yeah, give me Bogarts, and you know what? You can keep him. We're not even gonna take him. We're gonna DFA him, so he doesn't have to move.
does Freeman get a statue? I mean, is that like a possibility that a
Front
president
office
of
guy.
baseball operations could I almost said GM president of baseball operations gets a statue outside the stadium?
I don't know. I mean, it depends if how many more chips they get during this run, but then everybody's like, well, it doesn't matter. He had all the money in the world. Who can't do that job?
True.
But I guarantee you, you or I couldn't do that job.
I can do that.
We'd think that we know more than the room or the most in the room, and we'd end up with freaking, I don't know, some bad. We'd end up with Alonso for 5 years, and it'd bite us in the ass.
Yeah. I could do that job just because I'm the smartest man alive. My mom says I'm really smart and she's really proud of me. So, um, humble brag. It's no big
Yeah,
deal.
yeah, yeah, of course.
The I don't know, man. That I feel like we are in the age of where executives and GMs are kind of really celebrated more than certain players. Um, like during when at 20 on the Giants 2021 run, Farhan was getting more praise than anybody. That was that like it was he was like far god is what everyone was calling him.
Well, I
So
mean, he did build a roster with, the black magic and cheating, and it worked out for that year. I mean, it didn't really work out because you guys lost, but
we
you
you
guys had a
know
fun year.
what do they say? It takes a life to give a life. We did some black magic and we
A
got
soul for a soul.
2021,
Who did you give up?
but we gave up our 2022, 2023, 24 season. Hopefully it reverses at 25, but we shall see.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, why wouldn't the guys going for it get some praise? There's other guys that are crying poor. You had the Yankees owner saying that they couldn't
Oh,
compete like the Dodgers, and how ridiculous is that? Like you're the
well,
Yankees,
right. And they
and
shouldn't be crying
secondly,
poor. But
Secondly, if a guy is into the whole deferment, the deferred payments, you could
okay,
do it as well. Like it's
right?
not like the Dodgers just made it up out of nowhere. Like you could do the same, have the same strategy, get players, pay them later, whatever it is, build a juggernaut. You could do all. You're the Yankees. You're expected to do that, and then to come out and be like, well, we can't do it like the Dodgers. Like, okay, who do you think you are? The Sacramento A's?
Right. But let's not like I want to say 80 to 90% of teams could definitely be spending more. 100%.
There shouldn't be a
But
but. There should
but
not be a but.
but let's not pretend that the Dodgers don't have more money than everybody.
But the reason this is happening is because Shohei deferred his whole
Exactly.
paycheck, right? Like so,
Exactly.
like we talked
Not
about it before,
not
it's never going to happen again. Like
it doesn't matter.
every
It doesn't matter about his deferring his contract. It matters that Shohei Otani as a brand makes the Dodgers
so
$100
much
million
money.
dollars a year just showing up. Before he throws a pitch, before he picks up a bat, he makes them $100 million a year in advertisements.
Then you
That's
should
the
have
reason.
signed him. If you're so
You can't
jealous, you
force
should have
someone to
signed him.
sign. Are you
Well, then how do the Braves
come on,
sign all their young
come
players?
on.
How do they force them to sign for pennies on the dollar? You know, twenty
Well,
five
I mean,
dollars for freaking 50 years for Acuna,
right,
or however it was for Albies, like 50 years
well,
for $15, like whatever it is.
right.
Nobody bats an eye at that. They're like, oh, such good moves for the
No,
front office, huh?
that is legitimately a talking point. That's been a talking point multiple times how the Braves are able to do it. And the reason they're able to do it is because they give them guaranteed money at the beginning and um they end up losing money, but at the beginning it is a gamble. Not much of a gamble with Ronald Acuna.
And you
There
can't be
has been a
mad.
couple contracts that didn't work out.
Yeah,
Mainly with Seattle that I remember Evan White turned out to be nothing, but um
and
yeah,
as much as I'm talking about it, like it doesn't matter. Like if you can get your player to agree to that, okay, maybe you didn't get his full value, but you got him, so you can't be
right.
mad. Like he signed on the dotted line.
I'm not no
So,
I'm not mad that the well, I am mad about it. I hate it, but I'm not mad at them for or I don't blame them for spending the most money, but also let's not pretend that the A's make as much as the Dodgers. Let's not pretend that the Yankees have as much money as the Dodgers at this moment because of and TV deals probably are close. I don't know. We would have to look it up, but they don't have a player that makes them that much money and is taking that much of a deferral hit so they could build they could sign more dudes and just keep going. So I don't blame the Dodgers for it. They should do it and they should take advantage of it, but let's also not pretend that they can't spend as much as the
but
Dodgers.
you can't. I just think you can't cry poor and then be mad when a
100%.
36-year-old Yates signs or a Conforto signs or whatever people that you could easily afford, right? That can make your team better, and you don't do it.
Right.
Like you don't cry when you're not even trying.
Right.
I think that's
100%.
my whole point.
Yes, I
So
completely agree with that. Right, right.
if they were out of
Um
their price range, then it's a whole different conversation. Be like, well, we just can't afford them. But it's not that. You just don't want to shed any money to get these guys. In fact,
right.
all these teams are waiting to near spring training so the prices go down. We see it
Yeah.
every single year. So Flaherty out there, he's gonna have to wait until somebody offers him a 1 year deal, 1+1 or something like, with
Right.
an option. So, and that's pretty shitty. Like when he was on in the playoffs, he was on. He had some clunkers, but when he was on, he was really good.
Right.
So you're telling me you wouldn't want that on your staff? Like,
No,
okay,
I think everyone would want a Jack. I would think that everyone would want Jack Flaherty, but apparently people don't for some reason. So, I I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know if this is true, and I'm just gonna take you at your word, cheesecake, because I feel like I love cheesecake so much that we have a different connection with each other. But I just don't believe the numbers that come out. This is companies that won't open their books. These are companies that um, like to cry poor when they're not poor. So I don't know. It came out that it was that MLB um, their revenue stream this season was what 12.1 billion. something like that. So, uh, and that's with teams trying to hide stuff. So God knows how much teams make. I'm not sure if I would not. I'm not sure that I could believe that the Yankees made more than the Dodgers last year. After winning the World Series, you got Shohei Ohtani. I mean, the only person that makes a team more money would be Trevor Bauer, apparently, who's the second the second most
I was just
popular.
we're so in sync. I was just about to say that. Like, did you see that?
I
He said he was the
did.
second most popular player
Yeah.
behind Shohei.
He's the top 10 pitcher in baseball. Only 20 guys can touch him, like Sandy De Leon and
I
all
mean,
time
just
hitters
oh
like
man,
that.
how far he's fallen, dude. Like,
Oh my
I think he's
god.
given up his dream of ever coming back to the MLB, right? Like,
You have to. I mean, first of all, I mean with the off the field stuff, I mean there's no way you're coming back. I mean, you're acting like you're the only person that's this is affected or this isn't 100% your fault. But I mean, you could tell that to Urias. You could tell that to Ozuna, and I'm not talking about Ozuna from the Braves. I'm talking about Roberto Ozuna from the Astros, who I know there's been multiple reporters that are like, he's playing, I think it's like in Dominican or something, like, and he's like probably a top 20 would be a top 20 reliever in baseball right now. And this was maybe a couple years ago, but no team wants to touch him. It's just not the bad PR, and which is kind of crazy why Aroldis Chapman still has a job. That's kind of weird to me, but at the same time, I'm not signing the checks. So
yeah, I mean, he had an opportunity to come back. He could have just taken his punishment, whatever it would have been, and he probably been back by now. Maybe, who knows? But I mean, the fact that he's so loud about it, it was never. It's just not going to work. I don't think he's ever coming back to the MLB. It's just
uh,
it is what it is.
and I don't think anyone's you know playing the violin for him. I don't think anyone's really sad about it. It's like, all right, dude, piss off. Um, I and it kind of sucks because I think at first was like um, I think resonated with a lot of fans. He was trying to be promote himself and be marketable and market other players. Did some interesting stuff and then just went off all the stuff came out about him. Then went off the rails. So yeah.
I mean, there was stuff there that maybe you didn't agree with a lot. He was always very vocal on Twitter, on social media, and
right.
there was some tantrums that he would throw on the field sometimes, like throwing the ball,
right,
over the over the wall and stuff. But I think you could have lived with most of that until what happened with the Dodgers. So
right.
now it's like,
During
yeah,
that time, right?
I don't think anybody wants to take on that kind of headache, PR headache, and it's not worth it. Like,
Nah.
I don't know if he's going to make your team that much better. So,
No, I don't think so either. There's just, it's just not worth it. And yeah, you don't want to deal with that nightmare. Man. So off Trevor Bauer, because,
yeah.
there's like, I would love to interview some people that I'm not a fan of. Like I would absolutely love to interview Aubrey Huff and ask him why he sucks so bad and why he's such a crybaby and all that kind of. But I just with that situation, it's like you don't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole.
No, we should interview him. He's just going to throw money at you and be like, "You don't have this."
You're talking about Aubrey Huff?
So, yeah,
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. He's just
I
going to
would
plump
love
money
that.
at you, and
That's legitimately probably one of my dream interviews. Is to hear about how he cries about participation trophies and then says he's a 2-time World Series winner when he's gotten 4 at bats in that season.
I feel like he just shoot us out. Like he would just chew us out the whole episode.
That would be great. That would probably be one of the best episodes we've ever done. That would be amazing. I would love it.
Like hear him out, but
I would honestly have to ponder, like if it was like a one or the other situation, I wouldn't go that far. I was gonna say either Barry Bonds or Aubrey Huff, but I couldn't do that. But like if it's like a Jeff Kent or Aubrey Huff, that would be kind of tempting.
Oh, Jeff Kent would be awesome. He played for the Dodgers as well, right? So
I know that would be
pretty cool.
And that was my guy. But at the same time, the opportunity to tell Aubrey Huff he sucks to his face, I don't think I would be able to pass that up.
I would pass a million times Aubrey Huff. I mean, it'd be cool for him to chew you out, but I'd rather talk to Jeff Kent or somebody else.
I don't know. That's my that's